But sometimes when you want to do well and your heart's in the right place, sometimes you're in the way,
Yeah,
you
good
know.
intentions aren't always good.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, that was a tough day. And thank you for joining us on Drinks Words by. We are back. As I was telling David a story earlier in the program that you'll never see. We were having technical difficulties. We were having technical difficulties, and I was telling him probably the reason why we were having technical difficulties. And I won't go into detail about that story. Um, just out of it was a private moment, that we were having. And but that goes into this year. I feel that, like, a lot of people have good intentions that are not in the right place. And it's interesting that that's what this year has come down to, when I rationalize it, when I start evaluating the year. Because in October, I mean, in December, at the end of the year, it's always a point of reflection in our lives. And I feel that December is a reflection moment, which is why it's sometimes a joyous or sometimes sad moment. It's a very polarizing moment in our lives this month, as we now go into the 180th episode of Drinks to Words by. And I think that is a I know I think that is a interesting point in our lives, because I mean, when we did 100, you know, we were just like, I can't believe we made it to 100. And, like,
Yeah,
not necessarily we're on the cusp of 200, but I mean, we're kind of getting close there.
yeah. I mean, a lot has changed since we started the show. You know, we're no longer in a bar. We started doing, YouTube, and, you know, I don't know. It's just so much has changed over 180 episodes. But like you said, like, we don't get paid for this, so the fact that we keep it going is just purely for us, and the few diehards, as you mentioned before. Uh, I'm appreciative that we get to do it. I still enjoy doing it. It's like moments with friends that you don't like, because we're so far away from each other now. And, like, we used to be like around the corner from each other,
Yeah. Yeah, I would
and
go
now,
pick up David sometimes,
yeah,
and
now it's like, dude, it's like, ooh, you're way out there,
I know.
or I'm way out there. But this is a good way for us just to keep up, and still have fun, enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, and speaking of enjoying ourselves, let's get into what we're drinking today, as it is an honor drinks to words by. And David, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking the high quality H2O. I am actually doing or attempting to do a dry December.
Wow.
Yeah, so I really like I'm trying to keep up with the whole working out thing, and I want to keep up with better habits. Obviously, this was a holiday weekend, so my holiday weekend I went a little, I pushed it, put some weight on again, but I did 5 miles today this morning. In 62 and a half minutes. So pretty proud of myself considering. And I just want to, the goal, I want to be 210 by the end of the month. Well, I'd settle for 215. So we'll see. I just want to keep pushing myself to be in better shape.
Well, I commend you for that, because November and December. I actually want to say, let's go into October. October, November, December is the hardest time, in my opinion, to lose weight. You
Hmm.
have October, which is just filled with candy. You can't escape it. It's everywhere. It's absolutely delicious. And then you have, Thanksgiving, which is a day of absolute gluttony for
Gluttony.
sure. And then December, the entire month is just filled with parties after parties, people bringing in sweets, people bringing in treats.
Making
It's
making
understated.
breads and shit. Yeah, it is a difficult, but I wanted to start early. Well, I mean, I had to because of the whole fucking tooth tooth surgery thing. So I just took advantage of that, and I didn't want to be the January 1st, new year, new me bullshit. I want to be ahead of the curve. I need it because it's hard to get motivated when like there's no gym equipment or everybody and the grandmother's like, oh, this is it here. And I'm like I'm already. I get very, bu- I get very busy.
Yeah,
That's weird. Hold on. Oh man, can you hear me?
yeah, yeah.
My headset disconnected for some strange reason by itself.
Well,
Uh,
I can still hear you. Everything's,
okay.
or
If we're good, we're good. Okay. Um, so I get very busy the beginning part of the year. I'm like traveling back to back to back to back, and my diet and everything is out the fucking door. Like I won't have time to be. I'll be walking 5 miles in a day, but it won't be like exercising 5 miles. It's just like from everything that I'm doing. So I want to get ahead of the curve so that like when it's harder for me to work out and me to keep a steady diet because I'm out. I have to pick up something. Uh, I'm not gonna falter and like I'm back at 260 pounds and shit. So
yeah. All right. I love the lifestyle change. I love all that. And for me, I'm drinking my favorite H2O, which is Topo Chico.
what you go?
Um, yeah, one of my favorite mineral waters right now. I do have another liquid death that I'll probably do next show. We have a next show this month of December as my schedule has changed. So I do have Mondays off, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens from there. And I'm looking forward to consistency. That's the key in anything, whether it's losing weight, whether it's a new job, whether it's a podcast like ourselves, is consistency. And this year, I feel that we were consistent, but barely.
I won't
We
even
were,
go that far.
we were barely. I mean, we were averaging one show a month.
Yeah,
Whereas before it was like three shows a month. Um, then sporadic breaks in between. Where this one was kind of a leisurely pace. As we go into number 200.
yeah. Because when we first started, we were like recording on weekdays, and then so it was Sundays, and then football season came, and it was too hard to do it on the weekends. So we're like, all right, we'll take a hiatus. So we had our breaks here and there. Um, but yeah, schedule, life, things happen. That's why we've been as it hasn't been as consistent. Like we were way more consistent for the first 100 than we have been for the last 80.
But that could all change. We could turn it around.
Yeah,
In the fourth quarter.
here we go. Yeah, this is it's the end. It's end of the year. This is turn it all around.
Oh man. Let's get into some topics.
Do it.
Um, shall we? I've been doing better at writing things down. Um, and first we'll talk about Thanksgiving and wanted to see how your Thanksgiving went.
Uh, it was
You have
good.
two Thanksgivings, by the way. That's
Whatever.
my first. Do you have two Thanksgivings, or do
I
you
do
just
not.
have one?
Now it's just one. I used to be, I'd have like three Thanksgivings. Um, Now it's just one. The wife made a turkey. She made
yams. She made stuffing. Uh, what else did she make? Green bean casserole. I made mashed potatoes. So it was just a quiet, uh, nice holiday at home. Watched some football, had some drinks, and chilled.
Wow. Yeah, so my family, what ends up happening is, and this happened a long time ago. This is when, like, you know, I guess I had a girlfriend, so this is extremely long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. My sister, I think she was already married at that point. My brother had been married for like decades. And so we just noticed that, like, everybody had two Thanksgivings. So we ended up making it so that Friday would be our Thanksgiving, and then the traditional Thursday one would be for our significant others. And it worked out because having two Thanksgivings in the same day, as delicious as that sounds, it sucks.
It does.
because because you can't, overeat in the first one, and then even when you get to the second one, you may not even be hungry, and you don't want to feel like, oh man, like I got to eat something now and just really overdo it,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
I had one of those. So my record was four Thanksgivings in a day.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and it worked out perfectly as far as timing. Like it was like at 12, at 2, I think like at 4, and then I went home for mine, the last one. But dude, by the time I was home, I was so full, like I was in pain. Like I couldn't breathe. Like my stomach descended and stuff. And I was like laying on the ground going, no more. It was good. I got to hang out with a bunch of people and my friends and stuff. But yeah, that's way overdone. Yeah. It's cool when you're younger and all that stuff. But I also had those issues where like I wanted to be around and see other people, especially because they had different types of foods. Like one had lamb, the other, I had friends who were Filipino, so you had some lumpias and shit for Thanksgiving. So it's awesome
Yeah,
variety.
definitely. I'm 4. Geez, how did you manage the time differential? Was it like 1 hour here, 1 hour there? Because I mean, you're making car time as well, unless they're like all in the same area.
It was all within like the West Covina area, so it worked out perfectly. Like I said, I didn't strain myself to go to LA or anything type of stuff. It was just like, all right, I'm in West Covina, and then I go to another part of West Covina, then I went to Covina, and then I'm back in West Covina. So it worked out just great as far as timing and minimizing one plate per house. But even then, like back to back to back, you fill a plate. You're not like just portioning out things. It's like, all right, I need some of this, I need some of that, some more of this.
See, that's the thing, David, is, you just reminded me that there is no great Thanksgiving holiday classic story, and like there's horror films that are perfect for Halloween. Once you get into December, there's a billion Christmas stories that are being told. But I think we found our $1 billion idea, which is a Thanksgiving movie, and we call it Four Thanksgivings. And it's just like the story of you, which, by the way, who would play you? Idris Elba,
Oh,
do you think, or
I don't know. I mean, if it was a younger version of me, we because I
it's
can't
always
go.
a younger version? What is it ever? What is it ever like? I want an old version. They're like, no, I want the hot young me.
I want the yeah, I want the version of me when I still had hair.
Yeah. Now this truly is make believe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when I my hairline didn't look this bad. Um, I don't know. I don't know who the young version of me would be. You know, it's it's somebody who has to be able to eat a lot and intertwine with a bunch of people. That could be funny. That could actually be a really like good little like skit. the 4 Thanksgivings.
Yeah.
Trying to fucking yeah. But no, I mean this was way before I even met you.
Yeah.
Like
No.
I think I was still I don't even know if I had started going to the Cove when this took place.
Wow, this is a long time ago.
Yeah, this is like 2002, 2003.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I was still in the Marine Corps back then. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, because I don't
I've
think I found the Cove till 2005, 2006.
yeah, I think I'm right around there. 2005. No, I think I found it in 2004. I think. No,
Yeah,
no, I found it maybe 2002. I want to say. I don't know. I don't know when I found it. It's
yeah,
always been there in my life.
yeah. It was there before us. It's gonna be there after us.
I know. Definitely, definitely. So yeah. So my Thanksgiving. Not really a movie, although it should be. I mean, it would be a pretty boring movie. As I was saying before, we celebrated in two Thanksgivings, and so the traditional Thanksgiving, it was like a bachelor man's traditional Thanksgiving for me. It was just football on, and then I had some treats that I purchased for myself, so it was just, it was not a traditional Thanksgiving meal at all. It was more of a bachelor meal, and watching the football. And the only good game was the morning game, the Lions game,
Yeah,
and then the other two after that were kind of mediocre at best, kind of snoozers, and that was it, But Friday, I had to be in basically Eastvale, Mir Loma, which is essentially Riverside, right?
yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't until later on in the day. And I don't know if you know this, but my veggie platter is pretty legendary amongst my family. I do a pretty
Carrot
mean
salad,
What's that? Carrot salad. I
carrot
know, I
salad.
know. I should have brought that. I should have brought that. Fuck. For those that are, man, if you- I forgot what number that is, but there is a great story. It happened like in May of 2020. If you go into drinkswordsby.com and look in May in 2020's archive of our at least
Yeah,
180 episodes, you'll find the carrot salad story, and it is. I wish there was video of that. I wish
the carrot salad.
it was hilarious. Yeah, yeah. And the time I made carrot salad, because I love carrot salad, and I rarely make it now, but I should. I should make it. Maybe I'll make it for Christmas or something. But I'm known in my family for the um the the veggie platter, and so because it was later on in the day, I already had all the veggies and stuff. But I have a special knife that I use to cut like some stuff, which is like this knife that has like it's crinkled or something like that. That way, like when you cut it, it looks like super fancy. And
Okay,
yeah, yeah, it looks legit. It looks legit. And then I have this particular peeler. I use a cheese peeler to peel the vegetables, and it makes it look just even super prettier and stuff like that. And because I get down. Now, here's the thing, David. I make ranch. I don't buy it. I make it because you get the ranch packet, and then this is a pro tip. Okay, anywhere in the world, if you can find Knudsen sour cream, it's the greatest sour cream for that ranch packet. I've tried other sour creams with that ranch packet. Doesn't compare. It doesn't compare. It has to be the Knudsen. And I don't even know if I'm saying that product right or not. I am not sponsored by Knudsen, although I would love to be. But that is the perfect sour cream for that powder mix. Okay. And I'm telling you all this because right before I took off, I live here in beautiful Inglewood, California, and to drive to Riverside, and I checked on the phone, and it was going to be an hour and a half, maybe. Okay. A lot can happen in an hour and a half. Okay. So right as I'm walking out the door, I'm like, I, I have one in the chamber. I was like, what do I do? Do I just say, all right, screw it? I think I could wait an hour and a half to get to my brother's, or do I take the hit and be late and try to just, use my restroom here? Those are real life decisions, David Macias.
I
Do
know
you
what I would
ever?
have chosen, but
Well,
I
well,
think I know what happened here.
well, I mean, have you ever been faced with that where you're about to walk out the door and you're like 50-50? You're like, could I make it to that place or could I not? Have you ever been chosen?
Yeah. You have to think, you have to know yourself and know the time. Anything maybe 45 minutes and less, you could risk it. Anything over 45, it's not worth it. You're gonna have to fucking, yeah, because you're just second guessing yourself the entire ride. And you're just uncomfortable, just like, ah.
Yeah. let, let us know your stories. Email us drinkswordsby at gmail.com, or slide in the DM on our Instagram at drinkswordsby, or you can just text me or David, because let's keep that in mind, because I got a text message a couple days ago from somebody that saw our IG story about the shopping carts. Somebody texted me. They saw it and they just texted me. Like, so that's available too. If you have any
Yeah,
of our numbers,
come on, yeah.
text us. And we'll briefly skim on that in a minute. But so I'm like, what do I do? And I was like, and this is right when I'm like getting all the stuff ready to package, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, I gotta do it here. I'm like, that's too far of a drive. There's too many probabilities that could go wrong.
Too many variables, yeah.
Too many. And it ended up being, because like it was like kind of wanting to, but not wanting to. And David, I'm going to tell you something. It didn't hit me till right now where you said that 45 minutes, because it took almost 45 minutes for it to finally reveal itself. And I was like, whoa. Like right now, you just blew my mind. I'm like, you know what? You're right. There is a 45-minute rule. Forget this hour. Forget this hour or hour and a half. No, you're right. It's 45. Genius. Genius. Ladies and gentlemen, you should be giving us money by this genius right here. Okay. It's a 45-minute
He's
rule. If
like
you can't make it anywhere in
he's
45
like
minutes, you know, these are life pro tips. And yeah, so I so then I was in a rush. I'm like, oh my god, I am so late. So I start packing everything, and then I just dart out the door. I'm driving there. I'm getting I didn't know this, but for some reason my this is gonna be another topic, by the way, which is my phone is a decade old. A decade old, okay? And I'm starting not to get texts. I think AT&T is purposely doing this, okay? But I'm starting not to get texts. It's like a bunch of apps are not working anymore. I can't buy, woe is me, David. I can't buy tickets anymore to shows because the app doesn't work to buy tickets. So I'm like, oh no, I can't go to watch concerts anymore. No, I need a new phone. So so while I'm driving, I get a call from my brother and my sister, both within minutes of each other, and they're like, "Where are you? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm just, I'm about to hit the 60, and I'm like, I've been in traffic, you
yeah,
know, and
traffic on my toilet.
yeah, yeah, I'm like, but and so my brother's like, "Oh well, we're all waiting to eat." And I'm like, well, it started at, like our Thanksgiving started at 6. And I'm like, you guys aren't doing like an hour like of hors d'oeuvres or anything like that. Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm bringing the hors d'oeuvres. And I'm like, they're like, no, we're gonna eat right now. I'm like, right now? Like, who does that? Like, like you should have then said everybody get here at 4. We're gonna eat at 6. Just like in the movies, they say whatever time, but it's really like 30 minutes or later. Just like in the movies, you don't like begin eating punctually at like the time you say to get there. And so I'm just like shitting it, like, oh my god. And so I finally get there, and but I told them, I'm like, if you guys want to go ahead and eat, go ahead and eat. I'm like, it's gonna be another 36 minutes, till I get there at least. And so um when I got there, everybody already had their plates ready. That was the cool thing. Everybody had their plates ready except for me, but like there was so many people there that they left me with like scraps. I'm like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "Fuck, dude." I'm like, "I'm getting scraps." Like, fuck. But it was okay. It was like, I was like, it's fine. But I still had my stuff, and I'm like, dude, I still have my veggie tray that we got to put out, and they're like, we're past that, and I'm like, fuck, you know. So then we're eating and stuff. Everybody's already eating dessert, and I still have all these veggies that I still got to pull out. They're like, oh, I'm like, let me just start doing that right now. And as I'm doing everything and I'm pulling everything out, I forget my knives, my special knives and peeler, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, there goes the decor. The decor has been lost on this. I pull everything out, and then I'm like, oh my god, I forgot the mix packet. I'm like, where is it? I'm like, I know I put it in the box. I know I put it in, the bag, and I'm looking, searching everywhere. Nope. And so I'm like, guys, do you even have ranch? They're like, yeah, we have ranch, but it wasn't the same. It was not. I was like, this ranch sucks. I'm like, this ranch, this ranch is good for pizza, but not good for my vegetables. And like that was just in my mind the entire time. Where is this packet? So finally I leave, I go home, and I finally find it on the floor, no less, right next to my refrigerator. And I'm like, how did it get there? I am CSIing this entire scene. I'm duct taping everywhere, crime scene tape everywhere. And I'm like, how the fuck did this thing get out, you know, of everything? And all I could think of was because I took that shit, like it just
Shit
it
that
ruined
ruined
everything.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't believe it. And that's my Thanksgiving story. That could be the opening like scene of our for Thanksgiving story, where you forget some stuff, you know what I mean? And as
Yeah,
he's going to the
you gotta make it like 4 rooms. It's like 4 different stories told, but they all kind of like intertwined. There you go.
yeah, yeah. So that was definitely a Thanksgiving to remember. And I'm just like, well, I have Christmas to make it up. I have Christmas to just get it right, and bring the right stuff that I use for my veggie tray. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening from there.
Happening. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's yeah. Yours was way more elaborate than my Thanksgiving. Tell you that much. I enjoyed
But
mine.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed mine too, but just getting there, was a treat itself. So let me get to something that we talked about earlier, really quick, which was, guys, if you're not following us on the IG, as the kids say, we give a preview of the episode when we, say that it's out, and we talked about shopping carts, and there's this shopping cart theory about returning a shopping cart. We went really into it. I'm not gonna get too into it, but I guess it really um you know hit people. And so somebody texted me, and I'm not going to mention who it is, but they put, I always return my shopping cart because I feel it's the right thing to do. It's how I was raised to put things back where they belong, no matter what. It is put back where you found it or borrowed it. And I find that really hilarious because the people that are really passionate about this have done something in their lives. You know what I mean? That like where they messed up, where they're like, I have to make good for the rest of my life again. You know, but yeah, I didn't know that this was a
It's
passion.
the guilt. It's just the guilt that hovers
Yeah,
around the shopping cart.
I didn't know that this would spark such passion in people's lives. So
Controversy.
yeah, yeah. So guys, feel free to text us too. You know what I mean? We'll read it over
Okay,
the air.
I gotta ask though, was this text from a male or female?
It was from a female.
Ah, okay, okay, interesting. I feel that's because and it's weird because I say I feel like females are less likely to take the shopping cart back. I feel that way. It's too far. It's too far.
You don't know. I mean, the person when I told you that that I witnessed it happen was a
Yeah.
guy that didn't take it back. So it's I really feel that there's no gender bias on this. This is something that we all are either guilty of or innocent of. So um
I
it,
I think this needs to be like a first date topic. Like, do you return the
yes.
you return the cart or not? No, I
Yeah.
gotta go. That's it. I'm out.
But not necessarily, not necessarily, because that just means you might be compatible. Because like I'm a person that returns a shopping cart, and you're not. Maybe there's a balance. You know what I mean?
Oh, opposites attract. There you go. That's what you're
Kind
going.
of. And it's funny you should say that because a while ago I was talking to somebody, and it was a girl, and she was telling me about her husband, and she's like, my husband is a cook. He loves to cook, but he hates dishes. And then she's like, but I love doing dishes. And she's like, so we complement each other well. And I'm just like, that could be a thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So just something like that. I'm like, that could be a thing too, where you complement each other. You don't necessarily always have to be on the same page, but if both of you guys at least can complement each other, then maybe there's something there. It's just I get maybe that's just the optimist in me. I don't know. But this year I did, and I hate this. This is a PSA for everyone. During holiday parties or just whenever you see me, don't ask me how my love life is going. Okay? Fuck, I get that asked so much during this time of year. What's wrong?
Because this is the time of year. It's like what's it called? Cuffing season, right? This is the
Yeah.
time, like during the winter months, is when you're supposed to have somebody so you can keep warm and all this bullshit. And it's like, oh yeah, yeah. Don't ask me shit.
Yeah.
If
I'm
you
like
see
I'm
me with
like,
somebody, if you see me with somebody, then ask me about it.
yeah.
You don't?
Exactly. Exactly. You know what I mean? I'm like, look, if I, end up dating somebody, I'm like the world is going to know. I'm like everybody's going to know. You don't need to ask me. You're just going to know. You know what I mean? So but
There
I
will be
mean,
some.
yeah, there will be signs. But this actually goes for everybody. You know what I mean? For anybody, don't ask somebody how their love life is going or anything during any time of the season. You know what I mean? Because it makes them reflect on whether A, they're with the right person, B, whether they're not with the right person, or whether they're just not even dating at all, and like it could trickle down into a little spiral. When they asked me that, oh man, it made me think of like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? You know what I mean? Like fuck, like I get asked this every year, and every year It's always like nothing, nothing's going on. You know what I mean? And it makes me wonder, like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But I saw a movie that would maybe help me with this, David. And that was, I had the opportunity to revisit the movie There's Something About Mary. Okay.
It's been a while since I've seen it, so bear with me as you explain these things. Okay, go.
Yeah. Well, and if you haven't seen it, it's I want to say 20 years old.
It's an
I
old
want to say
movie. Yeah.
it actually was filmed in the 90s. It was filmed in the late 90s, so it's at least 20 years old, 24 at max, probably. Okay. And um if you haven't seen it, go see it. It still holds up to this day. It's a funny movie. But in this, there's a younger Ben Stiller and a younger Cameron Diaz, obviously. And in this, Cameron Diaz, like, this is where I fell in love with Cameron Diaz because they really make her super follow lovable. You know what I mean? Like, there are other movies where I'm like, she's not, she just doesn't do it for me. But this one, I'm just like, I'm in love with her too. I'm in love with Mary as well. But there's what was it? Matt Dillon's in this, right?
Yes.
And he plays an investigator now. Ben Stiller hires Matt Dillon to go investigate an old flame that he was in love with about 12 years ago, and he hasn't seen her, and he just wants to kind of rekindle. This is the time before Facebook, before the social media, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time before the TikTok, before all that stuff. So it was an interesting moment in our lives because there was that freedom of never having to see anybody again. You know what I mean? Like, it was always that little tone of wonderment that hit your eye, but you just moved on with your life. There wasn't like, and this is what, people do sometimes is they get a little on the sauce and then they go find their exes and then they see what they're up to. And that is really bad for your mental health. Okay. I personally believe so. Um, what's your thought on that, really quick, David?
I agree. I agree. It does nothing for you. It's not worth it. Nothing about it is good. It's all about moving forward.
Exactly. And that was the best part of that era before the social media is you had that opportunity to move forward in your life. But I digress. So what ends up happening is he hires Matt Dillon, and Matt Dillon goes, finds her, flips over her, falls in love with her, and then he goes back and he tells, Ben Stiller's character, "Oh my God, she's a hog. She has like 1,000 kids." You know what I mean? And yeah, you're so lucky you dodged that bullet. And then Ben Stiller's like, "Oh, okay," and he feels a little better about himself. You know, and then like a week later, he goes to visit Matt Dillon because he just feels guilty. He still wants to contact Mary, send her some money, I guess, be a really good guy, you know, and he's noticing that Matt Dillon's like, he's like, "Oh, I'm leaving. This is my last day." He's like, I'm moving back to, Florida, which is where Mary's at. And he's like, "Why are you moving back to Florida?" He's like, "Oh, I got this gig." You know what I mean? And so you come to find out that he falls in love with her, and then he goes and he spies on Mary, and he's like listening in, he's taking photos, doing real reconnaissance. And then he shows up in Mary's life, and all the things that she talked about in a guy with her girlfriends, he becomes just to get her to fall in love with him. And it works, so to speak, in this movie. And that led me to believe that I need to become an investigator. I just need to find a hot girl or girl that I deem like worthy, an investigator, and then show up at her places,
No,
exactly how in something like Mary.
no,
That's it.
no, no.
That's what that movie's really about. How to get
Yeah,
a girl to
it's
fall in
about
love with you.
stalking. It's about
What?
stalking.
It's not
That's
stalking
about
if you're an
stalking. It's about,
investigator. Okay.
no, 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 no. I have I have no way of no. No words. No. One word. No. No. Nothing about that man is is a blueprint for how you're supposed to get somebody. No, whatsoever. Nay, nay.
Let us know your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen.
Have you ever stalked somebody? Have you?
It's not stalking if you're getting paid and this is your profession. Okay.
Yeah. No. No, no, no. Nay, nay. Nay, nay, sir.
Um. Yeah. So speaking of movies, I got to see The Wicked,
Did you see The
and
Wicked?
I did, and as I was watching this, all I could think about was, does David Macias like The Wizard of Oz?
Uh, I don't hate it. Um, I've seen many versions of it
How are there
because you
many versions? It's just The Wiz and The Wizard of Oz.
okay, and now you have the black version, which was cooler than the white one. You had the Wizard of Oz 2 with Perusa Balk.
I don't think I've ever.
It's
Oh
her,
no, I did see The Wizard of
it's
Oz
her,
too.
yeah,
Yeah, that was
it's her
horrible.
Oz.
That was horrible.
Yeah, and then you had the Great and Powerful Oz, the story of the prequel of how Oz got there.
I don't think I saw that.
It has what's his nuts? Jesus.
It has
Uh,
Jesus in it.
yes, Jesus. Uh, I mean the original. The original was good for the time. It's a cool story on how to just love yourself and you become the person. You know, all your fears and all that stuff. You know, just look inside yourself and you'll find what you're truly you know about. But I don't know.
Wait. That's what that movie was about.
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
Yeah, remember, like the cowardly lion had no courage, and then he showed all the courage to save
I missed the mark.
Dorothy.
Yeah, I missed the mark on this because I thought it was don't go into gypsies' wagons. That I thought that was
That was
the
Pinocchio.
tale.
Pinocchio was like, "Don't go into gypsies' wagons."
I mean, but like like they went into the gypsies thing. You know what I mean? Like the witch's wagon. You know what I mean? That was located on the farm. You remember at the beginning of the movie?
That's that's what you got from the beginning was like the base of the whole movie.
Yeah, I was like, had you not gone and
Did-
saw that gypsy.
Remember, they all wanted to ask the wizard for something, but at the end of the story, it's like you already had it. You did it. Tin Man didn't have a heart, but he was all heart. He showed his love.
It wasn't a movie
I think
about like a tornado's coming, you idiot. Go in the basement. Do
I think
not go in your house.
I think you need to rewatch this movie. The original, with the midget, the dead midget hanging in the background,
Apparently, I missed the mark on the entire story. You know
which
the
which
reason,
now which now leads me to ask, what did you think about what was Wicked about to you?
dude. Have you seen Wicked? Do you know anything
No,
about the Wicked?
I know the story. It's the prequel to it all. It's how like she wasn't a wicked witch, but they forced her hand.
Well, at first I thought it was about Wicked from Return of the Jedi. You know what? I was like, well, they got to make a movie about the Ewok. He was like the coolest Ewok in the world. No, it was Wizard of Oz. And so as I was watching this, I'm like, am I? Because it's weird. I'm at that weird point in my life where I don't know if I like musicals or not. One of my favorite things is
Oh
La La Land. Have you seen La La Land?
no, I have not.
It's fantastic. Emma Roberts, Emma Stone. I mean, fantastic, fantastic.
I don't.
And that's why I saw it. I saw it because of Emma Stone, and I loved it. You know, who's it? Is it Ryan Gosling is in it? It's fantastic, fantastic. And so, every now and then I'm like, and then I saw the Joker, which was, I don't know if it was a musical. I wouldn't say it was a musical. It was musical esque, but not really musical. I don't know. And so I'm like, okay, I'm like, oh, I'll see this. My brother loves Wicked. He saw the play like a billion times. So I'm like, me and my brother, we kind of have the same kind of like, style. So I'm like, okay, I'll go watch it. So I went and I watched it, and it's so weird. And I feel that there is like a time in our life, and I've talked about this before, that gray area, and this is one of those movies that, where you don't know if a character is good or bad. It's just like that gray area. And that proved my point in this movie. It was entertaining. And I did like it. I ended up walking out saying that was a good movie. And then how it ended, I was like, okay. And then I find out that it's a two-parter because the
Mhm.
studios got to get their cash, man. They got to get the cash. And I was like, okay. I'm like, what more can they do? And then, but that's, people that saw the play, they're like, oh, you're only halfway done. They're like, there's a lot more. And I'm like, okay. But that leads me to wonder, since this did good and the second one's probably going to do good, are we ready now for a remake of Wizard of Oz? Because we still have those two principal characters, the Glinda and the Wicked Witch, and those two people are still alive in their prime. So it's like, man, I'm like, this opens the door for them to remake Wizard of Oz into what it is now. And to me, Wizard of Oz is extremely treasured to me. It is perfect the way it is, and it's tough for me to say yes to remakes. I hate them because it's just like, why can't you just leave it alone? But along the way in my life, there have been a few remakes where I'm like, man, that was a good remake. A Star is Born, that was an excellent remake. Trying to think what other remakes that are out there that I liked other than A Star is Born. I think there have been a few where I was like, okay, this is cool. But do you think the world is ready for a brand new Wizard of Oz, a prequel?
It wouldn't be a prequel, right? It would be a reboot. So
That's right.
I,
You're right.
I think what they wanted to do was to do that with the uh the Oz one, where the great and powerful Oz, but that movie like failed. But if Wicked does well, then I think you're right, it's gonna happen. And if they keep the same core of what Wicked is, then it could be done well. You can't. I think we're so far removed from the original that you can make it kind of its own. It's just all of us that watch the original go, "This was not what it was," because that's what we do. We're the old people that hate rock and roll and stuff now.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is not my time. I think, yeah, I think it's set. You can have obviously way better graphics. Um, you know, I think it's worth it. I think it could work if they take it right after Wicked 2.
Yeah.
I think
I
if you
think.
just follow this lineage, like it's like what do we call it? The Oz universe.
Yeah.
If they stay in the universe, uh, then it'll work. But if you try this down the road with the different Glenda, different witch, then it's like you lose an audience. It won't work.
I tend to believe so. Um, Thank you. Sports, ladies and
Sports.
gentlemen. Let's get to man stuff. We were talking about musicals. I'm like, time to shift gears. Something a little bit more, appropriate. Sports. I love Thanksgiving specifically because when the Pilgrims and the Indians got together, they knew football was going to be created. They knew they're like there has to be something for us to. We're not us talk. No, no, no. There needs to be something on the TV.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
that's what they
I,
thought.
and I love the fact that that day is just you get you get that day, and now you get the Black Friday game, and then you get Sunday game. So you get 7 games
And
in
there's Monday night today. The Browns are playing the
that's right,
Broncos.
8 games. You get 8 games that week, and I absolutely love it. I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
I don't know. This was a tough weekend for me. I went to go watch Ohio State lose again. God damn it. Yeah, I'm still like in shock and just dismay about it. Like I couldn't believe it. Um, it's always a good time to hang out with friends though. But yeah, this was not a good sports weekend for me. Well, actually, it wasn't that is a big game, and it always like I'm not. I tend not to be the person that lets sports rule their life. But for this weekend, for this week, yeah, that game always rules my life. Cavs beat the Celtics, so Cavs are still number one in the NBA. Browns played today, but to go along with what you were saying, yes, it is a sports filled weekend starting from like even like Tuesday, Wednesday. If you're watching college football, you got rivalry games all weekend, so it's a huge weekend for sports, and you just it's a plethora, if you will, of sports, and I'm all for it. Every
Yeah, me
every
too.
this is every weekend. It's fucking every holiday weekend like this is fucking Thanksgiving leftovers and fucking football. Do it.
The way
Muy
the Pilgrims and the Indians intended.
yes, yes. I'm sure they planned all these sports when that first thing. What do we do with this pigskin? What should we do with this?
Yeah, I was watching the Black Friday game, and at the same time, the Kings were playing the Ducks, and I'm like, oh, fantastic, fantastic. So I had that on my little, Air TV, my bunny ear TV had that on, and then I was watching my real TV, with the football. The press conference after the Raiders coach. Did you see that press conference?
I did not. I'm sorry.
It's all over the internet. I can't believe you can't. You didn't see it. It's all over the internet. So they ask him, like, essentially, like was because you saw the game, and the spoiler alert if you haven't seen the game, and if you haven't, shame on you. It's already been like forever and a day. Um, at the end, the Raiders, all they really need to do is kick a field goal. I believe they have one timeout left.
Yeah,
Beautiful clock management. Everything was going well to beat the Chiefs. But then they had a rookie center who I don't know what happened, but he thinks that, there he's gonna hike the ball, and he hikes it, unbeknownst to everybody else, and they fumble the ball, Chiefs get it, end of story. There was like 20 seconds left or something ridiculous left. Not that much time. And so in the press conference, they ask, the head coach of the Raiders, was that staged? Was that final play staged? And he's like, no. He's like, we just suck. He's like, we just suck. Like that was just no, that wasn't staged. We didn't, do that on purpose. We're horrible right now. They're like, he's like, we are allergic to winning. And I just started laughing so hard. And I really loved the candidness of the coach of just like, no, we just suck, dude. Like that was just I love when coaches are that candid, but you could tell he was
there was
just
no
frustrated with the
PC. No, like yeah, no. What had happened was like no, we're just fucking bad. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
Go, and if you haven't watched it, go check it out. Even if you're not a Raider fan or whatever, it's just it's kind of like in that response to when the guy was like playoffs. You know what I mean?
We talking about playoffs?
Yeah, it was that kind of hilarious moment, and I was like, oh, I was like, I can't wait to talk to David about this. Um, but yeah, so there was that Notre Dame beat USC. That was great. I was extremely happy. And then Sunday football came. We had the morning game, the Chargers, and man, that was an excruciating game. Like
Yeah,
the blood pressure. And you just said it. Like we shouldn't put so much emphasis on a sport or on a team, but when your team is playing, my blood pressure, I was just like every moment, and it really hasn't been like that lately with the Chargers, but it was PTSD time. It was like, hey, let's remind you of what like your last seasons were, where they were just so close and you barely lost by this much. We're gonna revisit that mental anguish for you, and I'm just like, oh my god. When it was over, I was like, finally, it's over. We won. I couldn't even be happy because I was just like going through the motions of like, I can't believe we won. Like, usually we would lose a game like this. This is insane.
yeah.
Yeah, and then next week we got the Chiefs, and we're already decimated, and it's just like, oh my god, what are
J.K.
we
Dobbins
gonna do?
out, so
Yeah,
he was having a really good year.
yeah, yeah. He's pretty much done, and I'm just like, oh man, like it's just like the Chargers to just like keep you so close, and then just it's very Charlie Brown and Lucy, where she just takes the ball away. You know what I mean? I feel like that, but there's still like a lot of games left. There's still like I want to see like at least 7 or 8.
Yeah,
You know?
it's because now that we're 17 game season, and there's like 2 bye weeks and stuff. So it's like there's still a lot of football left.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of teams can actually, you know, make it in. So we're definitely not out of the woods. Like December would roll around, you're like, okay, like like, okay, we're there. You know what I mean? Like we just got to get through this month, but nope. So it's definitely going to be an interesting time in to be a football fan. A lot of teams that are just on the cusp could do it. The Broncos have really turned it around. I'm really surprised by them, and I'm really hoping that the Browns can defeat them. But the Lions
Yeah,
too. The
I mean,
Lions.
the Browns, it's so up and down right now. Like Jameis Winston can either throw 4 touchdowns or 4 INTs today. It's no in between. There's no in between. He's either gonna have the game of his life and they win, or they're gonna he's gonna eat a dick and another loss. So you don't
We
know
will.
what you're gonna get.
Yeah, yeah. Geez. That's crazy. I'm trying to think what else is going on. Baseball, the Dodgers got this really old pitcher, but good pitcher, Blake Snell. Um, and everyone's really pissed because they're just like, you're just buying world championships. And my retort to them is, wouldn't you? If you could just get the best of the best, wouldn't you do it? And if you had the capital to do it, why make it fair for everyone else? Why?
But it's funny because you don't have the capital. You just start raising the prices on your fans. Fans are
Yeah,
like, we can't afford any more championships.
I know. I know. It's gonna be
We can't
like
afford to
60.
win.
I know it's gonna be $65 for a hot dog. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Take a fucking mortgage out just to fucking go see a game. Going to Dodger Stadium has become going to Disneyland. It's
essentially,
fucking
yeah,
ridiculous.
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And you know what? It's funny you should bring this up because this was a topic I didn't know if it was a topic that belonged in the topic or it belonged in the sports. But since we're already in sports and talking about it, the Dodgers will sell anything with a championship name on it right now. You can buy literally anything. Like right now, you can get what did I see that I was just like, this is ridiculous. It was like sandals. You could buy champion Dodgers World Series championship sandals. And I was like, look, all you need is a hat, maybe maybe a jersey, maybe pushing it a sweatshirt because we're in the winter. But no, like you can get championship underwear, you can get championship socks, you can get what was it, koozies, coasters. You can really there's bed sheets. I saw championship bed sheets. I was just like, I'm like, man, the Dodgers will just go to any depth, to make a dollar.
Let me say this right now. Say this right now. You know how to stay single? Buy some bed sheets and underwear. Let's say World Series championship. And unless you find somebody who's a Dodger fanatic like you, you're like, yeah, I gotta go. I'm leaving the room.
Well, David, I already have Dodger and Charger underwear already. Like that's already you have to wear it on the day of a game. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the Dodgers because there's like 182. You know what I mean? But like I have like 3 pairs of Chargers at least for every week. Because my cycle is like every 2 weeks I do laundry and
I
stuff.
just got a visual I'll never want again in my life. Let us drop this topic now.
Do
No,
you have team underwear? Let us know. Don't
not,
show us. Don't show us.
I
Don't send us photos or anything. Let us know. Email us drinkswordsby@gmail or slide in the DM. For
you jump
this,
in this
no text.
conversation.
For this, no
Somebody
text. Yeah.
text him.
If you do,
Text
text
him.
David, not me.
Oh man. Oh dear Lord. No.
I mean, every now and then you can have
I
a brown underwear. Like, brown
I
underwear.
don't have brown colored underwear. Yeah, I don't even have brown colored underwear. I mean, no. I don't even have red underwear, and I'm a Buckeyes fan. Scarlet and gray. No. Yeah, no. Nay. Again, nay.
Oh man, do you think we should end the sports segment on that?
Yeah, they were on your underwear. We're gonna end the segment on your underwear.
Okay. Oh man, I think I pretty much covered everything. Um. Oh,
Last,
okay. Yeah. Last licks for topics. Um. Do you have any topics you want to talk about?
I had a question. I saw it per the socials. What is a fictional character who passed away that really like tore you up?
Hmm, That's a good one. Oh, definitely. Logan. When Wolverine passed, when I saw the movie, I cried. I cried. I loved Wolverine. Um, that was yeah, that was devastating. And yeah, I love that movie, the Logan movie. Because like and I've said this many times. Is I have such a kinship to Logan. Being such a loner. All of his life, and I feel like a loner, even though I have like all these beautiful people that's around me and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But especially now these days, and I just kind of live by myself, and I'm kind of isolated from the world. There's a lot of themes that resonate with him, with me. So when he passed away, that was and then of course if you see the movie, like right before he dies and goes off to die, he gets his look back. You know what I mean? And the kids cut his hair, and he's back to fucking Wolverine. You're just like, ah! So yeah, that was pretty devastating. What about you?
I look back to my childhood. Like, I mean, I'm not afraid to like cry at a movie, but I like ones that stuck with me. And I was thinking the first thing that popped in my head was one Optimus Prime in the original Transformers movie
Oh yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
I was like 6 years old, and I'm like, "Ah!" And then Artax from the Neverending Story.
Mm, mm.
That shit was devastating. And not that I don't think it was so much like I love the character. It was just all the emotion from a child in a movie. You're like, come on, Horace, stupid Horace, get out of the swamp of misery, get out of there.
Yeah, very Old Yeller. You know what I mean? Like Old Yeller prepared us for all these moments. I think that's why we read it. We're just like, why do I care about this? And then like, oh my god, like the things that we love die. It's yeah, yeah. Let us know what your fictional character is. Um, Go ahead and email us or slide in the DM. There's a lot. This show is very interactive today. There's a lot of topics that we
Yeah,
talked about that you guys can feel free to weigh in on, and feel free to contact us any way possible, and we'll discuss it the next show, which we don't know when it is going to be, but it could be next week. We'll see. Um, and finally, I have one last topic to talk about, and these are the true heroes, in my opinion. The other day, I went to go get some NA beer, and while I was there, I was like, I might as well, watch some the football that they got going on. My game was already over, and that's what I love. By the way, when your game is over, you're not obligated to watch any other game. You will because it's football, but I'm like, oh, I got some errands I got to do. I'm like, I can go do some stuff really quick, especially with the morning games. Like the morning game, your team's in the morning, you have the rest of the afternoon to go just catch up on stuff or watch other games. So I went to go pick up some NA beer, and then while I was there, again there was football going on. So I decided to stay there for a minute and watch because I this is the place that I go to a lot, but only to pick up beer and then I just leave. Although it's a really cool place, I love Three Rivers. They haven't had any events that I've really. They're usually really good about their events, but lately their events haven't really drawn me in. And so I was there. I was like, I haven't stayed here in a while, And what's cool is like I'm an irregular there, but they always recognize me. They're like, hey, how's it going? Been a while, and I'm like, yeah. And they gave me a free beer, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it's free NA beer, I should say. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I'm like, well, I was gonna get these other beers too, and I was gonna get a 6-pack, so just ring me up. They're like, all right, cool. And while I'm there, there's a birthday party going on, and I mean, they took over the entire place. There was like, I want to say, there was at least 30 people there for this birthday party. It was a lot. There's a lot of people there. And so at the end they wanted to take a photo of all them together. And they asked one of the bartenders to do it. And so she's like, "Yeah, sure." So she goes, and right before she takes a photo, she stops. She's like, "Hold on." And then she like goes to the table and moves some stuff around, clears the table because it's in the shot. She starts telling people, "Hey, move this over here, move that over there." And then she takes the photo. And I was like, that's pro. I was impressed by that because I'd be like, "Okay," and I'm just like, there's the photo. Like because I'm very in the moment. I'm very like, well, I don't want to disturb. Like this is what this place was like. It's very what's the word I'm looking for? Like architect. You know what I mean? It's very or archaeological. I'm like, I want them to see that yes, there are, things that were here. You know what I mean? It's that there were glasses and people were drinking. You know what I mean? It's I want to tell the story, of in the entire photo. But she was just pro, like, nope, we can't have this in there. Nope, nope, let's move all this around. And I was really impressed, and I was like, "You are a good photo taker." She was super. I was gonna go tell her like, "Hey, you're a good photo taker. Good job." But dude, she was just swarmed with like people. You know what I mean? So I was
yeah.
just like, maybe I'll tell her like next time or whatever. But I was super impressed, and there are those people that really understand a photo sometimes, and that it's not just all about just the photo. That you gotta clear stuff around. And me being a kind of a photographer, if you will. I really appreciated that. So, and like, it's always funny when someone asks you to take a photo, right? And they hand you their phone because like it's so weird. It's like we always forget how to use a phone, a phone. We're like, wait a minute. We're like, we're like there for like a minute trying to decipher their phone, when it's usually pretty simple. But I always found that funny. So yeah. So that's my. I don't know if that was a topic or more of a rant for you.
Real ranty. It was ranty, but I get it. To the people who take photos,
Yes,
take the time and make memories better.
exactly. To you, to you. Guys, that's pretty much it for the show. Thanks for tuning in and being a part of the program. David mentioned his receding hairline, and if you'd like to see that, log on to drinkswordsby.com. You know, there, there you can click on our banner of our YouTube, and you can actually see it. You can actually see that. So if you enjoy watching the show, go there. But I know a lot of people listen to the program. So, so thank you for that. We have a contact button. Go ahead and click that contact button. Anything that we talked about, all fair game. We love reading your stories, your anecdotes, all that. We do have a donation button. Yes, give us money, guys. We do this for free, and to give us some money would really help us out. Help us out with what? I don't know, but just hook us up. We're available on many of streaming platforms. Just go ahead and click the banners on Drinks Towards By and smash that subscribe button. And that's it. So now it is time for our final cheers. David, what are we cheersing to today?
Uh, I don't know. I'm still recovering from the receding hairline mark. Like, oh well, that came out of nowhere. You
Well,
fucking.
you left
I
left it.
again. Cheers to the people who make sure all their leftovers are eaten. Don't waste food, people. Don't waste it. People spend hours cooking all this food. Make sure you eat all the fucking food. Cheers.
Cheers for that. Wow.
Cheers.
Wow. Cheers to that. Cheers to sneezes. Cheers to bodily functions. Definitely cheers to bodily functions for that. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, guys, that's it. That's the program. Thank you so much
Woo.
for tuning in. We really appreciate you. And stay tuned for another episode. Until then, the bar is closed. David, kick him out.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Get home safe. Bye.
We're out of here later.